Karnataka finally has a chief minister, Janata Dal Secular's H.D. Kumaraswamy. His oath ceremony, attended by leaders of more than 12 political parties, was a crowning of the JDS-Congress coalition. In 1 week, Karnataka has given us 2 chief ministers and an unlikely coalition united against an expansionist party. Should the BJP be scared? The other question is, how did planned protests against Sterlite Copper result in the death of 11 people in Tamil Nadu? We explain what the police are supposed to do instead of firing at the protesters. It's Thursday, May 24th. The government in Tamil Nadu is still struggling to deal with the fallout of Tuesday's events, when 11 people were killed in police firing after tens of thousands took to the streets in Thoothukudi. The protesters were demanding a closure of a copper smelter run by Sterlite, a company that comes under the Vedanta Group, which many believe is responsible for contaminating the air and water of the area. Villagers, who say almost every household has one person with a serious illness, have been fighting against Sterlite for 2 decades now. Far from being phased, Sterlite has put forward proposals to double the size of its smelter. On Wednesday, the Madras High Court issued an interim stay on the expansion of the copper plant, telling the central government to hold a public hearing before it granted an environmental clearance. But even as protests against the company continue, some of the focus has shifted to the actions of the police during the protests on Tuesday. Politicians from across the board have condemned the police action that led to 11 people dying. The main question being asked is this: why did a protest that was planned and had been expected turn out so violent that 11 people have died? Visuals of the events have raised even more queries. In the most egregious of the videos, a policeman is seen climbing the roof of a van with an assault rifle, while in the background, a voice says at least one should die. Most official rulebooks and guidelines regarding the control of crowds in violent situations suggests a progressive approach, which means firearms are expected to be used only as a last resort. For starters, the police is expected to inform a magistrate, who would declare that the assembly of people is unlawful, after which authorities ask the crowd to disperse. If the crowd refuses to, then the authorities can ask the police to take further action. First, the simplest forms of coercive actions should be used: tear gas, then a quote-unquote mild lathi charge, and then the use of water cannons. If this also does not work, the police can use firearms, but only after issuing a warning through megaphones that people could lose their lives. The police are expected to first fire in the air, and only if that does not suffice, to aim below the hip. In Thoothukudi, however, activists claim that rounds of firing began soon after the protests had become large and that many people have been shot above the abdomen. Photos circulating on social media also seem to show bullet injuries on faces and torsos. A death toll as high as 11 for what was supposed to be a peaceful, planned protest is highly unusual, and the videos of policemen taking aim at demonstrators only seems to confirm suspicions. The Tamil Nadu government claims that the deaths were unavoidable, but after public pressure, announced on Wednesday that retired Madras High Court Judge Aruna Jagdishan would probe the police firing and killing of civilians. The National Human Rights Commission has also taken cognizance of the situation and issued notice to the Tamil Nadu government and police. The situation at Thoothukudi, meanwhile, remains tense, with reports of more violence on Wednesday. H.D. Kumaraswamy took oath as the Chief Minister of Karnataka on Wednesday after a week of intrigue that followed the results of the assembly elections that also saw the BJP's B.S. Yediyurappa be made Chief Minister only to resign from the post 55 hours later. Kumaraswamy heads a coalition government in which the Congress actually has a far larger share of seats in the assembly but pledged support to the Janata Dal Secular in order to keep the BJP out of power. The Karnataka State President of the Congress, G. Parameshwara, also took oath on Wednesday as the only Deputy Chief Minister in the state after some speculation that there might be 2 deputies to address demands from the various communities following the stitching of the surprise post-poll coalition. The new government is set to come in with 34 ministries, of which 22 have gone to the Congress and 12, including the Chief Minister's spot, are being held by the Janata Dal Secular. The 2 parties also decided to split the Speaker and Deputy Speaker posts, with the Congress nominating Ramesh Kumar to be Speaker and the JDS yet to announce its candidate. Kumaraswamy's new government will have to pass the floor test today, one it is expected to win before the specific ministries will be allocated to the various MLAs. Besides the shape of the new government, Wednesday's ceremony was significant because of who all it brought together on one stage. The opposition is hoping this occasion signals the beginning of a national anti-BJP alliance that brings together political parties from across the country, including the ones that are maybe rivals in their own states, with the united aim of stopping the massively successful electoral machine built by Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. The leaders all presented a happy front at the swearing-in ceremony, with images suggesting some level of comfort. But groupings like these have often fallen apart under the weight of their own contradictions in the past. Will this front be any different? A pink diamond, allegations of a political conspiracy, a 3D map of jewels, a tip-off based on an auction in Geneva, murmurs of an ancient treasure gone missing. Those might be the ingredients of a summer blockbuster, but they are actually playing out in Andhra Pradesh right now. The former chief priest of the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, one of India's wealthiest temples, alleged last week that the administrators of the Balaji temple have been swindling money. Dr. A.V. Ramana Dikshitalu addressed the media on May 15th, saying the priests of the temple, which receives lakhs of devotees every day, have filed a petition demanding transparency over donations and jewellery and even asking the temple trust to be brought under the RTI Act. 2 days later, the temple board passed a resolution stating that all hereditary priests must retire at the age of 65, which essentially meant that the 69-year-old Dikshitalu was also relieved of his role as chief priest. Then on Sunday, Dikshitalu added even more allegations. He claimed that he saw news of a pink diamond being auctioned in Geneva for 500 crore rupees, which he claimed looked similar to the one that used to be in the platinum necklace of the temple deity. He also alleged that the temple trust had demolished ancient structures within the Tirupati complex without any approval. The temple trust has denied all of these allegations. On Wednesday, the board's executive officer Anil Singhal said all the jewellery and ornaments are intact and that there was no pink diamond. It was instead a ruby that was damaged when devotees threw stones during a procession. Beyond the allegations of corruption, the controversy has also taken a political turn since the former head priest went public with his claims after meeting the Bharatiya Janata Party president Amit Shah twice this month. He had also alleged that Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu was involved in the cover-up of vanishing jewellery and violating shastras or temple rules by allowing digging for treasure in the temple kitchen. Naidu has claimed that the entire matter is a BJP conspiracy to defame him and to take over the temple through the back door. Meanwhile, the BJP as well as the YSR Congress party are now demanding an inquiry into the temple jewels. BJP MP Subramanian has even promised to take the matter to the Supreme Court. Singhal, the temple board's executive officer, also said on Wednesday that the board was willing to display all the temple jewels if Shastras allowed it, and will anyhow 3D print pictures of all of its precious ornaments as a safety measure. With the BJP and Naidu's TDP just coming out of an ugly political divorce and elections expected in the state next year, don't expect the Tirupati controversy to go away anytime soon. See you tomorrow, same time, same planet.